Hello everybody and welcome back to the HTAaB YouTube channel, where today you find me back here in the model railway room. And up today, well, I've got another review for you. And well, as I speak, it is actually Boxing Day, one day after Christmas. And it's the first time seeing a model railway video here in 2026. So Happy New Year to you all. Coming up today then is this. And so-called this is, in fact, here, the Hornby Railroad Plus 47522 in the Doncaster Enterprise yellow and green livery. So as I spoke, I received this for Christmas, and well, as it's new and in the box and brand new, I thought that, well, I'd give it a review and just see what it has to offer in terms of detail, livery, of course performance, and general sort of characteristics of the thing. The tooling itself is based on the Lima Class 47, which was from what, the 1980s, 1990s. But personally speaking, I think that looks very much like a 47. I have a Helljan 47, but it just looks, sorry to say this, too fat. I don't have any other ones like Backman ones, or I don't know if anyone else has made a 47. But personally speaking, I think the Lima tooling looks perfect. In fact, let me just grab the Lima one, just on my shelf. It is in fact here in the ScotRail livery, so yes, another 47 to the fleet, both in sort of, well, 1980s liveries, which is very awesome. So with that said, this is brand new, and well, as I said, it's in the Railroad Plus range, meaning it is a railroad model, a railroad sort of design, basic on detail, probably easily serviceable, but it has an enhanced livery, which, looking at it through the front of the box, already looks perfect. So with that said, enough waffling about the box, enough waffling about that sort of thing. Come down onto the floor and we will open it together. So then, here it is down onto the ground. And looking at it from this level, it really does shine. That livery looks amazing. And obviously, well, I've not seen the full sort of, well, aspect of it yet. I don't know the colours, don't know the, like, mass, the gloss, or the, like, well, effect within the paintwork, because the box sort of hides that. But looking at it through here, it does look quite pristine. So the end of the box, well, this is the Railroad Plus Enhanced Livery, R30382 BR Class 47 Coco, Doncaster Enterprise, number 47522. So obviously DCC ready, and the minimum radius of the track is 438mm, which I believe is second radius. But on my railway I've got first, second and third, so hopefully it will go around the first radius okay. The back of the box, nothing to speak about there, just Hornby's address and stuff, and well, obviously if you're under 3 you can't have this, but if you're under 3 I don't see why you're watching this video. So with that said, let's well, live on camera open this for the well, first time and see what we have inside. So pulling it out. Hopefully no annoying noises are, well, created, but if they are, I'm sorry for your ears. Right, let's push that over there. We have got some instructions, so I'll just move the box out of the way for a second. See what we get in here. Class 47, Coco Diesel Electric, DC ready, DC fitted, sound, operating and maintenance instruction. Obviously this is DCC ready. It hasn't got a chip inside, but hopefully this would give you a, well, nice description of how to fit a chip and a, well, speaker inside this if you're on DCC. Here's the instructions, obviously body removal, DCC ready, replace body, lubrication. It's held in by clips, which, I mean, the clips can easily snap, but for easily sort of removing the body, it makes it slightly more convenient. You have to just get like glue spreaders or just, well, widen the body slightly in order to lift that up. Body removal, yeah, the clips, and also you have to remove the buffers. I was just looking there, but that isn't too bad. And obviously lubrication is just, well, putting some oil on it, which I won't be doing in this video because, well, it is new. Other tat on there, yeah, pretty basic. We don't need that for the meantime. So that only leaves us with one thing, and that is of course the box with the locomotive inside. So we have got this sort of piece of, what would you call it? Piece of plastic, which I shall just take off like that. There we go, that wasn't too hard. And we can uncover the locomotive, which is inside here. More plastic, which is fine. I'm not seeing a detail pack as of yet, unless it's underneath the locomotive, but there's an idea of that paintwork, and yeah, looks really nice. The enhanced liveries on Hornby's like railroad models, it just brings them to life. But some of the liveries just look a bit flat. It was like the 67, they really brought that back to life, even though it's like a really old tooling. Not much detail, but if it's got a nice livery, that will just make the model shine. So, let's take this out. I guess I'll just pull it this way. Here we go. And, oh, there is actually a detail pack there. What have we got inside here then? Put that over there for a second and remove the phones. Probably a horrible noise, but there we go. We have some etched nameplates, attached nameplates using blue tack, not suitable for children. So that's cool. Etched nameplates, they look quite nice. All just printed on the metal there, and that's obviously the Doncaster Enterprise name. I won't be fitting them today though, but it's an option there for the future. And I've removed the plastic off shot, but here is the model in the flesh. And giving an idea of the weight compared to the Lima one, obviously it's the same sort of body, obviously slightly refined and slightly enhanced the modern day tooling, but they've obviously repurposed the chassis, adding the new Hornby mechanism into it. I don't know what mechanism's in it, probably says in the instructions, but I'm not reading it. Giving it a slightly lighter feel than the Lima one, which I showed you at the start of the video. Also, that means it shouldn't make that noise that Lima locos make. It should have smooth running. I don't know if it's got a flywheel, I don't know about that sort of thing. But, well, in my hands, it looks really nice. So with that said, I'll give you a bit of information on not only Doncaster Enterprise here, but the Class 47 in general, and then we'll put it on the track, and I'll show you up close and show you what features and what details, and just basically show it off and what it has to offer. Right, let's do that. The British Rail Class 47, or Brush Type 4, is a class of diesel-electric locomotive that was developed in the 1960s by Brush Traction of Loughborough. A total of 512 Class 47s were built at Brush's Falcon Works, obviously in the town of Loughborough in the Midlands. And British Railways Crew Works between 1962 and 1968, which made them the most numerous class of British mainline diesel locomotive. They were fitted with the Sulzer 12 LDA 28C Longwood twin bank 12-cylinder unit, producing 2,750 brake horsepower, though this was later derated to 2,580 for increased performance. As of July 2024, 76 of the class still exist as Class 47s, including 32 which have been preserved. 31 locomotives, including 6 which are preserved, remain mainline running certificates. A further 33 locomotives were converted to Class 57s, with sort of electromotive diesel 66 sounding engines. If you know, you know. This locomotive, number 47522, was painted in a unique LNER style apple green livery to commemorate the Doncaster Works Open Day in October 1987, where it was also officially named Doncaster Enterprise, with the Doncaster Council logo seen above the name. The apple green was a nod to the historical liveries associated with the London and North Eastern Railway, specifically celebrating the heritage and history of Doncaster Railway Works, where many LNER locomotives, open brackets, including Flying Scotsman, close brackets, were built and maintained. So then, here we are down on the ground with the wonderful Hornby Railroad Plus 47522 Doncaster Enterprise. And yes, my first impressions of this, just looking at it here right in front of my very eyes, wow, what a livery. I don't care about the detail, that is like irrelevant practically for this. It's the livery that shines, and the livery should shine because that's what's advertised on the box. It says open brackets, close brackets, enhanced livery, which is, well, sheerly what it is. If I show you the Lima one, you can see, although the Lima livery is nice and it's applied nicely, it just doesn't have that finesse to it. It's not as shiny, it's not as clean, it's a little bit chunkier, and yes, I know it's an older model, but still, they have definitely enhanced the livery. Simply wonderful. Speaking of the livery then, there is so much, like, well, fidelity to it, so much crispness, and so much sort of, well, basic, well, just things that are just right with it. Like, look at these banding, look at it, it's so perfectly applied, so neat, so tidy, and just so fine. That is just wonderful. And obviously, there's all the little details, such as the name there. Obviously, the etch names are provided with it, but even the printing on the model is so crisp and fine. Definitely a sample printed piece and not a well, sort of UV printed piece, which a lot of manufacturers are using now. There's also the little bird there on the side. That's very well applied. Well, just so like crisp and so fine. No sort of mistakes within the paintwork at all there. And obviously at the other end there is the BR logo. Just wonderful as well. The little sort of, the colour difference between the green and the yellow on the ends is also done very neatly. No bleeding within the paintwork there, that is noticeable. And the buffer beams between the yellow and the red as well, there is no bleeding. Just wonderful. And, well, that's not the only good thing about the paint, though. I know I'm waffling on about the paint, but that is what is advertised, so I will waffle all I want. The roof. Look how shiny it is. It's just the perfect finish. If I saw this in a model shop, it would instantly attract me. And that is what a model's meant to do. You're meant to fall in love with it. You're meant to sort of, well, basically love it and care for it. And care for it I will. This is just what a model is meant to look like. Shiny, crisp, clean, and wonderful. Just well done, Hornby. Well done on the paintwork. We've not even got into the detail yet, but, well, as I look at this, there is plenty of detail to offer as well. Did I say about the roof? Yes, I probably did, but look at how, like, lovely it looks. It's just all that sort of grey colour, no bleeding between the sort of beige colour on top there, and no bleeding to that orange line which I mentioned before, which I'll say again, looks truly wonderful. That wraps around the whole model, and honestly, it is possibly the crispest yellow line I've ever seen. It's a yellow line, I know, but it's crisp, and it's wonderful, and that's what it's meant to be. So then, speaking of actual detail, there is plenty to offer. Okay, yes, it's not super detailed, it's not got, like, well, separately fitted parts, left, right, and centre. But because this is in the railroad range, I don't care. I genuinely don't care at all. It looks wonderful, and how they've presented it, lots of detail or not, I can accept that because, well, it just looks brilliant. I love it. So, starting off at the front then, we've got a whole host of different details. We've got the little steps there at the bottom, which are just moulded on. We've got handrails there, which look fine, but they're moulded as well, so they're nice and thin, not too chunky looking, which is wonderful. And well, there's some little separately, not separately fitted, separately printed even, danger overhead electric wire signs there on either side of the model, which are nice and fine and of course legible. How brilliant. Not much in the works of buffer beam detail, but as I'm not comparing it indirectly, this is one of the areas that has been enhanced since the Lima tooling. Obviously the whole chassis has been, well, remodelled. The buffer beam included has been as well, because on the Lima one there isn't any detail, whereas here there is a rendition of the coupling, which is brilliant. Speaking of the couplings, this has been fitted with the NEM style tension lock couplings. They don't pivot, which is an unfortunate thing, but it's in the railroad range. They shouldn't have to. It's a basic model. It shouldn't really be screaming like, well, pure quality, but obviously it's acceptable. It's not got the big chunky D-type couplings, which is good. For the modern railway, lots of people use the new couplings now, and this model delivers on that. Coming around the side of the cab then, well, we've got a little bit of detail here. I'm just trying to see, I think, are they moulded, the handrails? I can't tell. No, I think the handrails there are moulded, which is fine because they look, well, nice and thin, nice and crisp again, but they're picked out in that silver livery, which is very awesome. There's also a little bit of detail on the door, with the glazing nice and flush with the outside of the windows there. Very fine, very in scale, and wonderful as well. The bogies, very cool, all just moulded detail on there, but what is done very well. Little springs, the little axle boxes, all black, which, well, I mean, is real for the real thing, and it just looks wonderful. Moving further along the chassis then, obviously we've got the big tanks in the middle, the fuel tanks, all stuff like that. Mechanical stuff that really is boring to the, well, normal person, but to us railway people, it's interesting. And the interesting detail that is there, like I said, is done very well. The side of the body then, well, there's not much detail there, but if you look at a real 47, there's not much detail there either. And what is done, I've said this already, is done really well. The little, whatever they are there, the little doodads, that's what I'll call them. They're picked out and they're nice and fine with the emergency exit door there halfway through it, where the bird is, also looking wonderful. There is 2 windows on the side, which obviously are accurate for a real 47. There's no engine room detail or anything, but I wouldn't expect it with this sort of model. While we're here, we'll take a look on the roof, and this is where I personally think the most moulded detail is. And it does look good. There's no raised sections or anything like a Bachmann model would, or well, a new Acura scale model. But like I said, it doesn't need it. It's in the railroad range. It's brilliant. And well, with that grey paint, it just really brings it to life. It just looks wonderful, very fine, very crisp, and just, well, just right. It just screams Class 47, and that's what it's meant to do. So then, the model, and what do I think? Well, yeah, that is just beautiful. That's what I'll say. Sum it up in one word, beautiful. Beautiful in terms that it's a lovely looking 47, it looks prototypically accurate, and the livery looks, well, basically, I'm going to have to say this, I don't think I've seen a livery on a complexly painted model such as this, with lots of little bits and bobs like that looks that good. But the model itself, well, yeah, that is just summed up in one word, beautiful. But what can make the model even more beautiful, though, is, well, if it runs great, and I hope that, well, that detail section covered that well, and it gave you an idea of how much, well, I'm going to say how much effort Hornby has put into, well, enhancing the Lima 47 tooling. It just looks great. But, as I said, running. Obviously, this has never ran before, and it'll need running in. My track on my model railway, my main model railway, is quite dirty at the moment. So, I'll set up a standard Hornby oval of track, and I'm going to run it for, well, 30 minutes in each direction, just to sort of, well, what's the word? Just to run it in, and I'll do a little crawl test to start with, just how it runs straight out the box. We'll run it in, and then we'll take it to my main layout, and I'll either put it with a train or just run it round, just to see how it looks. Right, I'll go and set up a track, and I will join you in just a moment. So then, you now find me here, well, just a little bit further back, because, well, the room's quite small, but I've got an oval of track set up just on the floor. This is obviously just standard Hornby track, and it's the, well, nice nickel silver track, so it is, well, basically clean, as it's, well, I've said well too much. It's a year old, that's why it's clean. Anyway, with that said, the locomotive is just in front of you here, and, well, it just look right. But to make it look even more right, the thing has to run. So, well, I've got my controller just to the right of shot, and I'm going to apply some power in a moment, just to see how well it crawls. Obviously, this is its first run straight out the box, so I'm expecting it to run, but if it doesn't, well, things like that do occur in the model railway world. So I'm going to apply some power. I don't actually know which direction it's going. I'll just flick it that way, because I think they was going to go that way, but I wanted to go that way. Anyway, shut up. Applying power in 3, 2, 1, let's go. And I was wrong with that, but it works. And it stopped. There we go. That is smooth. That is a far cry from Lima's one. I've got a 47 that works. That's magnificent. Like, I'm just, well, watching it as I'm filming. Oops. does keep stopping. Obviously, it's not ran in. This is it, just straight out the box. But, well, that is brilliant. Yeah, I'm impressed. How fast does it go then? Let's have a quick look. I'll just run past at, well, full speed. Okay. Yeah, it's quite a quick thing, and as I don't know if you saw that, but it did abruptly stop, as you can see there. It doesn't actually have a flywheel, but again, I wouldn't expect it with a railroad model. But it was just one of those things, as it stopped again, that, well, you never know. Some models just sort of surprise you, you know? Anyway, how does it crawl? Let's have a quick look at that. I'll get it to go this way. Let's see. Playing power slowly. And it's a little bit jolty, but it is surprisingly slow. I mean, on this controller, obviously it's just a Hornby train set controller. It won't be as controlled as, say, a Gauge Master controller. Hence why it's making that humming sound, because this controller, well, draws more current, I presume. But it is very smooth and very slow. So with that said, I'm going to set it around this track, like I said, 30 minutes in this direction, and then 30 minutes in the opposite direction. Give it a run, and then, well, I'll come back and give it another try, just to see if it has improved. Then we'll put it on my model railway, run it with a train, and just see how it looks and performs on the big layout. So, with that said, I'll let it go, and I'll show you a few shots, and then I'll join you back here in about an hour's time, so the lighting will probably look completely different, but to see how it runs. Right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. And there we go. That is 1 hour past, half an hour in that direction, and half an hour in the opposite direction, which obviously has just been running. Now, ow, my legs are hurting. I've not been sat on the floor for an hour. I can assure you that I've just been doing other things. In fact, believe it or not, I've started editing this very video. God, I'm ahead of the game. Anyway, with that said, she is now ran in, and I've noticed a increase in speed. I was running at about, what, 40% power on the controller. Obviously, I don't want it to fly around because, well, that's not good for the model straight out of the box. And I wanted to actually sort of, well, appreciate it as it ran, as opposed to just seeing it whiz around like a rocket ship on rails. So with that said, it's running, and the increased performance, which I've noticed personally, has, well, sort of resulted in this model running better. I could have worded that so much better, personally. What am I even saying? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I want to now, well, show you the performance and do another crawl test, just to prove my point. Right, increasing power, I'll go the opposite way just to make it a little bit more enjoyable. And has that joltiness stopped? Moderately, yes. But personally speaking, I think it's smoother from the off. Can you see that? I've noticed in that direction it has got a weird squeak on one of its axles, but the other way it doesn't. But it's fine. Ooh, that was a unpleasant noise it just made. It is squeaking a little bit more now. I mean, when it's running you don't notice it, but it's just because it's slow. But it is a lot smoother. Can you hear that squeak? Can you hear that? You probably can. I think it's this wheel here on the sort of, are we even in focus there? I don't know. On the nearest side to the camera currently, but it's fine. It is definitely a lot smoother. Has the speed increased? I really want to try this, just to, well, like I said, a rocket ship on wheels. Let's go. Yes. That's it's quite a fast locomotive, and without a flywheel, it stops almost instantly, which is fine, but obviously you can control it to a stop. You can just bring it to a gradual stop, which I tend to do if I'm running a locomotive. Let's try a crawl then, just see how slow we can get it. I mean, it's quite jerky, but that is quite slow, to be honest. That's not bad for a straight out the box locomotive. Well, obviously, straight out the box locomotives are meant to run like that, but I mean, it's not bad for a straight out the box Hornby Railroad locomotive to run that way. That is honestly comparable to some Bachmann locomotives I have, which are, well, now 20 years old. But that's brilliant. I'm well happy with that. Oh, it's such a beautiful model. I love how it looks. It's just, I was honestly, while I was editing the video, I was just sat watching it go around because, well, it's just, well, basically, just feast your eyes on it. Look at it. It's just, it's beautiful. That green is just, well, so perfectly applied. It's just, and it just looks right. A 47 that looks right. Well done, Hornby. Kudos to you. So with that said, let's now put it on the main railway, up there to the right of the shot, and we'll couple it up to some, I say, prototypical rolling stock in a probable loose way, but with the photos I've seen of it when I was doing the sort of, well, information on the real prototype, I've seen photos of it with some blue Mark IIs. So I'll do that, and you'll see it running in a moment. So then, here it is up on the main layout, and I've just whacked it in the siding here, which is, well, off the main running line, but that just gives you a little glimpse of it running light loco before I couple it up to the coaches, which are just to the left of the shot. With that said, it went on the track perfectly, and it just looked right. It's just, well, now at home here on the HTAaB, which obviously is the name of my railway, if you didn't know that. And it will run well with the rest of my fleet, which I'm happy to announce because, well, yeah, it's just one of those things that I like. I love 47s. And as much as I love running the Lima one, it is a little bit temperamental every now and again. You can't do slow speed running, it stops on points and stuff like that. Whereas with this, I've noticed, as it went round the oval, it is just a flawless performer. So, let's give it a bit of juice then, and we'll head to the coaches. Actually, should we go over the points first? Yeah, we'll probably go over the points just to give it a bit of a point test, because I did completely forget about that in the video. So let's head forwards. And we'll now flick this point open, just there, and we'll head the opposite direction, and then we'll head across the crossover. Trying to film this and control it at the same time is a little bit difficult, but excuse the shoddy camera work and shoddy performance. That's not the locomotive or the, well, track. It's just me, basically. Right, we'll head across here. And, yep, seemed okay that way. Let's go back. Oops, it stopped. Yeah, the track's a little bit dirty on here. Just excuse that. And that way, it seemed fine as well. Let's go a little bit faster. Obviously, I wouldn't be running it across there at that speed anyway, because that's stupid. But to prove my point, it did do it quite well. Right, let's head back and couple to our coaches then, and well, you'll get to experience some wonderful camera work from me again. Bring it back this way and watch it go past. Let's see how it also couples then. Obviously this has got the NEM pocket coupling style things, and that's got the large D-type. So if it doesn't couple, it probably isn't the Loco's fault. It's more me again. But I think, no, that hasn't caught it. It does also give a test of if the couplings are at the right height, and with a bit of wiggling, yes, that is attached. So let's run it round and, well, see how it looks. So then, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea at least of how it looks with a train on a model railway. Obviously this is my model railway and it looks different on your model railway, say if you're modelling in a different era. Also, hopefully it gives you an idea of sort of the perspective of how it runs on just not the floor. But speaking of running characteristics, it runs well. Obviously, it's a little bit clunky because the track that I use on this line at least, and well, not the new track bit, is like old Hornby and, well, not trying, but mainly old Hornby and Pecco track. So it's not the smoothest, but most locos perform like that anyway. The squeak is quite noticeable as it runs along, especially this way with the motor bogie at the front. But if the motor bogie is there and the pony truck, the one without any power to it. Well, it's got power. I mean, it's got pickups, but I mean the one without the motor bogie under on. If that's there, it doesn't make the squeaking noise as it runs along. But over time, that will probably disappear if I run it sort of every day for the next 25 years, which I'm not planning on doing. But if I do, it will probably go away. I'm not fussed by a little squeak though, because it is just a characteristic. I've said that too much probably in this video. Of the locomotive. So, as it's here, I'll give you my final verdicts, and they are good. Not going to rate it as such because, well, I don't have a rating system and I don't want to copy from other YouTube people who are probably more advanced and better than me, frankly. But with that said, I would recommend this model. Livery is spot on, definitely what they advertise and what they deliver on perfectly. The enhanced livery, as said on the box, is 100%. No blemishes, nothing like that within the livery, all solid. From the banding, to the tampo prints, to the different colour changes, it's just done well. Detail isn't the best, but from a railroad locomotive, which obviously advertises the livery over the detail, which is fair enough, it isn't bad, to be honest. It's not bad, there's not much of it, but if you look at another railroad locomotive, which I have quite a few of, they are of equal detail. The 67, which I looked at in my last review, I can't remember when, probably under a year ago now. I don't know, I can't even remember when I did it. But I remember looking at that model here in front of me, the detail is of a similar level. I think that's the old Lima tooling as well, isn't it? That's a class 67 from Lima. And finally, the performance is top notch. Smooth, quiet on, well, new and clean track, and very, very nice. Just runs at a sensible speed. It's controllable, as you saw it creeped into shot and smoothly stopped, demonstrating you can do it without a flywheel. Obviously, it doesn't have a flywheel, and I'm not too sure on what mechanism is in this. I could look at the instructions, but I'm not that technical. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to see more reviews on the HTAaB YouTube channel, then, well, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that Fathom-related gobbledygook. And I will see you people on the next one. There's a link to this model if you want to purchase one yourself in the description box below. I'm not affiliated with it, I don't make money, the company does, but it's just me giving a good word to Hornby and promoting this fantastic model. So with that said, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.